right here on Morning Express. But before all that, let's get into press review. And joining me for that discussion this morning is Kevin Osido, who is the Director of County Governance Watch. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Trix. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Now, I'd like your comment on this. County Governance Watch is all about accountability at the county level. And when you see what's happening, some would laud it as accountability, the senators discarding their political affiliations to make sure they're going for what is good for the Mwananchi. While on the other side, well, a lot of politics is in play. And now the very latest, as we have seen on the Standard, we're told Senate under siege and a day of terror. The very latest involves the police and a few senators being rounded up for, apparently, according to some of the politicians involved in this, for not being in line with what the formula that the presidency or the powers that be want to be pushed forward. So what is your take, just briefly, on this one?
It's quite a very unfortunate scenario, Trix. Very disturbing. It takes us back to many years, grounds where Kenyans can remember we have come from. And through the Constitution of Kenya 2010, you look at various sections of that particular constitution, and Article 96 tells us what the role of the Senate is supposed to be, of course, read together with Articles 109 all the way to 113. And this, therefore, really is a point of concern, because we know that we have three tiers of government, and all these tiers of government, as per constitution, are supposed to work together through consultation, through dialogue, and that the principles of separation of powers also need to be safeguarded. And so this is a very disturbing occurrence in our country. It would be very important that the concerned parties actually consider dialogue as a way forward, and that if the government has a position, then that position also needs to be shared through the set aside processes, which include the clerk of the Senate, the speaker, the speaker's panel, and indeed the leadership of the House, which is the majority and minority, including the whips. But the manner in which this is happening, I think, is taking us back to a scenario which we do not want to go back to. So I would appeal to the executive, the legislature, to consider conversation and just talk about what the issues are, because as they say, wakipigana rinyasi ndio hugumia. So at the end of the day, it's going to be the citizens. Of course, government has a position that it wants vote carried upon, and so maybe they have a feeling that rounding up and arresting a few senators will affect the numbers. But that, in my view, should not be the case in which a democracy like Kenya is supposed to be run.
Indeed. And the question you're asking today on Twitter is, will the Senate Mediation Committee resolve the revenue sharing standoff? I will pose this one to you, Kevin. Do you think this is it? Because they have had various kamukunjis previously. A retreat has been frowned upon. They're not too eager to go into that. But clearly there's a need for that before, so that they can be prepared to go to the Senate and vote. So do you think this would be it?
This might not be it, given that this is the ninth time that this is happening, but I have had conversations with the senators that we work very closely with. I think if we consider doing away with the politics, that is goes running the day and the manner in which decisions are being made at the Senate, then I think that probably we'll be able to have a crack on the matter. But if we are going to put politics as an indicator and the foundation upon which we are going to have very important conversations on matters that concern the citizens and our great republic, then that might not be it. So mine is to probably advise that they look at what needs to be done and just consider doing it. Of course, I know, and we all can see the hands behind all the plays that are going on. But I think there's a very clearly set process. If Senate cannot be able to agree on the formula, of course, they have other options, which include adopting the CRA formula as it were, which include amending it, and which also include making their own recommendation. So if they themselves cannot be able to agree even on their own formula, then probably they need to get advice on other jurisdictions on how this kind of issues have been dealt with. But I think Kenyans are not we are not deficient of good ideas. We are not deficient of people who can be able to draw differing opinions and divided sides to a discussion table. So that probably needs to be what the Senate needs to do, to consider having conversations among themselves. And I am sure that if we can be able to just put aside the politics and consider the process and the interest of the people, and particularly that of devolution, because the major role of the Senate is to support and defend devolution and the counties, the interest of the counties. So if we can consider having that, there is no reason whatsoever why we should not have a response to the issues that we are having with division of revenue allocation.
Okay, and of course, this is a story that has been covered adversely on in the papers. We are having very interesting headlines this morning on page 6 and 7. It's being described as high drama as Senate failed to bring